This is the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
You're inside Jamaica Magazine.
Encouraging the information flow, sharing the news and views you need to know.
We are building an informed Jamaica every day.
Listening to what you say.
Hi there, it is Friday, January 15. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Alison Watson. Major achievements in the Ministry of Education on today's Rewind 2009. But first, IMF agrees in principle to Jamaica's application for a standby loan arrangement. CARICOM leaders decide on a response to the Haitian crisis. And scrap metal thieves target North Coast Highway in St. Mary. Stay with us. Those and other stories when Jamaica Magazine returns.
This is my appeal, Jamaica. Give blood for it.
Give blood and give the gift of life. So safe you don't have to think twice.
For real.
Do what you can for one another.
Yeah, man.
Be a hero, be a blood donor.
Yeah, me people. Watch it.
Give blood.
For your sister and your brother, save the life of another. You might never know.
Give blood.
Cause you know my life, you love many people want blood. The Father says so.
One blood.
Sign up today. Be a blood donor. Many people. One blood.
And now the news. Finance Minister Audley Shaw has welcomed the announcement that the management of the International Monetary Fund has approved Jamaica's letter of intent. IMF's External Relations Department sent out a statement yesterday saying the fund has agreed in principle with Jamaica on a US $1.25 billion loan. It is subject to final approval by the IMF Executive Board. Managing Director Dominique Strauss-Kahn says that decision could be taken in the next few weeks. He also points out that approval of the standby arrangement should be a catalyst for a further US $1.1 billion in funding from other international financial institutions. Minister Shaw says this inflow of international support, coupled with government's reform program, will lead to a strong improvement of Jamaica's credit profile. He was responding to the anticipated news that international ratings agencies Standard & Poor's and Fitch Ratings have downgraded Jamaica. The downgrades are in reaction to yesterday's launch of government's debt exchange program. Holders of certain domestic government bonds are invited to exchange those instruments for new, longer-dated debt instruments. The move will significantly reduce the amount government has to pay to service its domestic debt and has enjoyed the support of financial analysts and industry leaders. In the meantime, the Public Sector Transformation Unit is vigorously working on the program to reduce the size and cost of government. The update was given by Prime Minister Bruce Golding during his address to the nation this week. So far, cost management centers have been identified. Mr. Golding says the ministries and agencies will be required to submit monthly reports on outstanding bills and commitments.
Travel expenses, purchases of goods and services, utility bills must all be reduced to specified levels. Waivers will be drastically curtailed. All existing incentives will be reviewed, and where they are no longer necessary, they will be withdrawn. The Central Treasury Management System will be established to bring all of government's financial resources under central management to ensure better utilization.
An emergency management center to direct all local aid to Haiti has been set up at 2 Hayden Road, the headquarters of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. The announcement was made by Minister with Responsibility for Information, Darrell Vaz, at a press briefing this afternoon. He also announced that Jamaica is offering free landing at the Norman Manley International Airport to aircrafts carrying aid to Haiti. Aid vessels will also be allowed to dock and restock with water at the Reynolds Pier in Ocho Rios. Jamaicans who want to donate to the relief effort can call numbers 906-9674-5 or 754-9907-8. In the meantime, CARICOM leaders have decided on a coordinated regional response to the situation in Haiti.
The key need at this time is medical response, medical supplies, public health. A number of the hospitals were damaged, and what we discussed at the level of CARICOM was CARICOM deploying additional personnel through the Caribbean Disaster Relief Unit to link in and to coordinate with our JDF troops on the ground. It is also expected that Trinidad and Barbados and Antigua may deploy troops to work in conjunction with the JDF team. So we're establishing a CARICOM military contingent with skill sets in medical operations and engineering.
The CARICOM delegation arrived in the island last night to meet with Prime Minister Bruce Golding. The delegation is headed by CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Edwin Carrington and includes Dominican Prime Minister and current chairman of CARICOM Roosevelt Skerrit and Barbados Prime Minister David Thompson. And ahead of that CARICOM meeting, a high-level Jamaican delegation visited the earthquake-ravaged Haitian capital. Prime Minister Bruce Golding led the delegation, which included Information Minister Darrell Vaz, Opposition Leader Portia Simpson-Miller, representatives from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and other officials. The airport was congested, and this crack was just the beginning of the devastation in the French-speaking country. An official from the JDF described what he saw on the streets there.
It has been quite chaotic. It's apparent that the United Nations command and control systems and structures have been severely affected by the earthquake, and of course communication and a number of other things are proving to be very challenging. We tried to establish contact with a digital team that was in country and that we were hoping to use as a sort of go-between. It took us 4 hours to accomplish that.
The Haitian Prime Minister also gave an update on operations in his country.
Everybody is sleeping on the streets right now since 3 days, and it's very difficult for not only the Haitian government but also for all the friends of Haiti that are trying to help us to bring the help to the people, because it's very difficult to circulate. One of the main problems that we're facing right now is communication. All the phones are dead. It's very difficult to reach internet, so communicating between ministers, different people in the institution, communicating with the people that are helping us here, the MINUSTA, for example, is very difficult.
Prime Minister Bruce Golding also met with Haiti's President René Preval. Information Minister Darrell Vaz, who was a part of the briefing, tells JIS News that one major priority is to get relief supplies to the survivors.
Second priority is to try and get the people that are on the streets, either because they have lost their house or they're afraid to go back in their house, to get them in tents and get them out of the roads. And he's saying that he's thanking God that it hasn't rained yet, because that would be another disaster based on the amount of people. Hundreds of thousands of people are out in the roads. There have been 7,000 people that have been mass buried already, and many more that are there. The hospitals are full, and so they're trying to set up field hospitals in the field. The major things that they need is doctors, medication, and water, and of course ground transportation, which is also an issue, and they're asking people who are coming with aid to make sure that they have transportation.
A piece of land has also been identified to set up a base for a 200-member contingent from Jamaica to assist in relief efforts. Scrap metal thieves have set their sights on the metal guardrails along Segment 3 of the North Coast Highway in St. Mary. Transport and Works Minister Mike Henry says there is evidence of the plot. The National Works Agency, the NWA, says a number of bolts on guardrails in the Ballards Valley and Martins area of St. Mary have mysteriously gone missing. Police investigations have linked the theft to the illicit scrap metal trade. To try and deter the criminals, prompt efforts have been made to have the bolts welded to the guardrails. In the meantime, Minister Henry is calling for a review of the scrap metal trade. And still on road matters, Minister Mike Henry says heavy rains since late December have caused over $600 million in road damage. He says the wide-scale damage has significantly eroded the plans in place for national routine road maintenance. The minister says temporary reinstatement works have been completed on the recently damaged road